hello, 25 of you that actually regularly watch my videos. My name is Jacob Ryan Cameron because I named this channel Ryan Cam because there are so many dudes that surround me in my daily life named Jacob that I wanted to try in vain to stand out. And welcome back to my road to Deadpool and Wolverine, which I'm hilariously behind on because I overcommit to everything, and getting behind on me is just one of the quirky things that is a part of my personality. Here's my review of Deadpool.
I'm touching myself tonight.
Nothing like reviewing a self-referential film with some self-referential humor. Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam. Welcome back to my road to Deadpool and Wolverine, with Deadpool and Wolverine coming out this weekend. I've got some movies left to review, so let's get cracking. Starting off with Deadpool. This was released in 2016. It was directed by Tim Miller, the guy who I want to say killed the Terminator franchise, but the Terminator franchise was already dead, so he just made it worse, question mark, but regardless. The movie starred Ryan Reynolds, TJ Miller, uh, Mer and others. It took 7 years, but we finally got a Deadpool movie. I remember distinctly where I was when that Comic-Con footage got released of Deadpool, or well, not Comic-Con footage, but test footage got released. It no longer exists. It was deleted off of YouTube for obvious reasons. But I remember distinctly where I was. I think someone sent it to me as like a, hey, psst, Deadpool footage, pass it on. I'm like, what? And then I saw a test, and it turns out Ryan Reynolds makes for a very good Deadpool. And then an actual trailer came out, and it was more or less what the footage was, but with an upped production. And I remember seeing it opening weekend in 2016. I remember because I had a pretty bad cold at the time, because in the before times, you could go to a movie theater while sick without no one looking at you like like no one giving you dirty looks. But yeah, I loved the movie then, and rewatching clips of it for this review, I still love it. It's not perfect necessarily. I don't think it's my favorite X-Men movie, but talk about a complete 180 from just misunderstanding a character in X-Men Origins Wolverine to finally getting what this character is all about in his own solo movie. It's gonna be rather superfluous saying it, but Ryan Reynolds was the perfect choice to play Deadpool. You could tell that in Origins, the Wade character was Deadpool just desperately trying to get out. And I've read in interviews that Ryan Reynolds unironically likes Origins. It's okay to be wrong, but he was one of the better parts of the movie when he was actually allowed to speak. And here he is the beating heart of the movie. Not only does he get the quips, does he get the violence down that comes with a character like Deadpool, but the movie is surprisingly effective when it comes to being dark and capturing the tragedy of Deadpool that is lying underneath the surface. The entire reason why Wade Wilson becomes Deadpool in the first place is because he is diagnosed with an incurable cancer, and he is approached by some random British man named Ajax, or Francis, depending on your vintage, and said, hey, I've got the miracle cure here. And it turns out there is no cure, and Wade Wilson is turned into a mutant. The thing that always gets me about this movie is that it's always remembered for its Deadpoolisms.
Seriously, you actually have something in your teeth now.
But the one scene that always gets me is when Francis locks him in that hyperbaric chamber over the weekend, and you see Wade Wilson clutching for breath and desperately trying to breathe even though he can't, all while soundtrack to the song Mr. Sandman. That is unironically a dark scene in the long history of X-Men movies. And he gets cured, but he ends up looking like Freddy Krueger. Ryan Reynolds is really good, and really, his goodness in this movie overcomes Not the lacking of the rest of the movie, but the just kind of there portions of the movie. For example, I want you to name the actor who plays Francis in this movie. I will wait. You don't know who it is, do you? It's Ed Skrein. I'm not saying you needed to introduce Cable in the very first movie, but you could have done better in the villain department. That's my point. Morena Baccarin is good in the movie as well as Vanessa. I love the scenes between Wade and Vanessa when they are there. There's not a ton of them for plot reasons, but when they do have on-screen scenes together, it is legitimately nice. I love the scene, especially at the end, where after everything has gone down. Wade Wilson reveals himself, and he has a cutout picture of Hugh Jackman from the People magazine's Sexiest Man Alive cover, and stapled to his face. And Vanessa has to literally rip off the face to reveal that Wade Wilson looks like Freddy Krueger, all while soundtrack to the band Wham. I love that scene so much. Got a couple X-Men in the movie too, such as Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I like them, but I feel like you could have done without them, I suppose. I feel like there was a need with them in here to be like, hey, this takes place in the X-Men universe, guys, even though we all kind of figured that out already. But like I said, the strength of this movie is that it understands what makes Deadpool so popular and leans into that skid. Hell, the first 10 minutes of the movie alone, you got a fourth wall break, you got crude humor, you got a ton of violence. The opening credits of the movie by themselves give this movie an amazing grade. It is soundtrack to that song "Just Call Me Angel." I'll figure out what the actual title of the song is and put it in the lower third. But the opening credits just understood the assignment. How the director is some asshole and the producer is some a-hole executive. It just is perfect. Give this an amazing grade. This is not a perfect movie by any means. There are some parts that are lacking, but the lacking parts are completely overshadowed by Ryan Reynolds' portrayal as Deadpool. He just takes the cake in every scene that he is involved in. Everybody talks about Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, as just perfect comic book movie castings. Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool needs to be in that same conversation. But what did you all think of the first Deadpool? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. And as Deadpool and Wolverine approaches fast, we've got a few more movies left to cover. So, going to be speed running these last few ones, starting off with X-Men Apocalypse.